Hello and welcome. If you're over 50, you've probably noticed there's just a mountain of advice out there on how to age well. But what actually works? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise. We're here to find a clear path forward, and we're not just talking about a long life, but a long health span. So let's dive right in.
Right, so we all know what lifespan means. It's how many years we're on this planet. But what about health span? That's a different game. Health span is all about the number of years we spend in genuinely good health. Feeling vibrant and not being held back by chronic disease. So the big question for all of us is, how do we really maximize that health span, especially after 50? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
And here's the challenge, of course. The internet is just flooded with advice, so-called miracle cures, and a ton of conflicting information. It can be totally overwhelming, trying to figure out what's real and what's just noise. To cut through all that confusion, we're going to turn to the work of Dr. Topol. He's a really renowned physician and scientist, and he gives us this straightforward, really powerful framework for understanding and taking control of our long-term health. So this isn't about fads, this is about a fundamental, modern approach. So what is this fundamental approach from Dr. Topol? Well, he boils it all down to a really powerful framework built on 5 core pillars. And just understanding these is honestly the first giant step toward taking control of how we age. Let's break them down. First things first, let's kind of redefine what healthy aging even means. It is not a passive state. It's not something just left to chance or your genetic lottery. Instead, think of it as an active state of well-being, one that we build and we maintain through consistent, interconnected daily practices. And here's the crucial point. We have so much more control than we might think. And here they are, the 5 pillars that really form the foundation of our health span. Now, 3 of these are probably pretty familiar to you: exercise, nutrition, and sleep. But the framework also brings in 2 others that are just as important: lifestyle, which covers things like how we manage stress and our social connections, and an awareness of environmental toxins, the chemicals in our surroundings that can affect our health. Getting a handle on all 5, that's the key. Okay, so you might be looking at that list and wondering, where do I even start? Well, to really understand how this whole system works, we're going to put a big spotlight on just one of these pillars: exercise. So why start with exercise? It's a great question. We're starting here because our source material singles it out as the perfect example of the entire system in action. By looking really closely at this one pillar, we can see just how powerfully it influences all the others. It's the perfect case study. And this quote really says it all. This is a huge shift in thinking. Exercise isn't just about building muscle or getting your heart rate up, it's a master lever. When you pull this one lever correctly, you start this incredible chain reaction that positively moves your entire system of health. And that brings us to the core idea of this whole framework. These pillars do not operate in isolation, not at all. They are deeply interconnected. They're always talking to each other, creating this powerful synergy for your health. Let's look at exactly how that plays out. This is where it all clicks together. Take a look at this virtuous cycle. It starts with just consistent exercise. So what happens next? Well, you start getting deeper, more restorative sleep. And when you're well rested, your body's stress hormones go down, which then naturally leads you to make better food choices. You're not reaching for that sugary snack. And those better choices, they bolster your entire lifestyle, giving you more energy, more mental clarity. It's just a fantastic positive feedback loop. So if there's one key takeaway, it's this: you don't have to perfect everything all at once. A small improvement in just one pillar, whether that's adding a daily walk, or maybe improving your sleep routine, or finding a way to manage stress, that can create a ripple effect that lifts all the others. Every single one supports and strengthens the rest. All right, so how do we take all this and actually apply it to our own lives? Because this is not about some one-size-fits-all plan. It's about creating your own personal blueprint for vitality. I want you to think of these 5 pillars less like a rigid prescription and more like a map. It's a tool, really. A tool you can use to assess where you are right now and to strategically decide where you want to go on your personal health journey after 50. It helps you see the whole picture. So, I'm going to leave you with this question. Just take a moment and think about all 5 pillars: your lifestyle, your exercise habits, your nutrition, your exposure to environmental toxins, and the quality of your sleep. Instead of trying to fix everything at once, just ask yourself this: which one of these holds the most potential for you right now? Which single pillar could be the lever that sets your own virtuous cycle in motion?